Point, if you're watching this video, you've already finished up with your introductory paragraph, you've already finished up with your body paragraphs, and you're ready to make revisions to the body paragraphs to make them stronger. So, just like we did with the introductory paragraph, we're going to make 4 revisions to the body paragraphs here. We're going to revise for style and flow by doing a matchy-matchy reflection first. Then we're going to revise for first person, the showstopper, and finally the explanation. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first revision is matchy-matchy. If you remember, we did a matchy-matchy revision in your intro paragraph to make sure that your hook and your thesis matched. We need to do something similar in your body paragraphs with your thesis and your topic sentences. When you do a matchy-matchy revision, you want to make sure that your thesis matches the topic sentences in both ideas and order. So let's look at the example here. My thesis is in the first part there. The thesis that says trauma can greatly impact one's identity, paralyzing the victim, that's my first point, limiting their choices, that's my second, and causing them to give up on their identity as they focus on survival alone. That's my third. So you can see the 3 sample body paragraph topic sentences below. Notice that the order of the paragraphs matches the order in the thesis. So my first point in my thesis is that it paralyzes the victim. So body number 1 is about trauma rendering the victim unable to act, which is another way to say paralyzing. My second point is about limiting the choices and that trauma causes that. So body 2 is about how trauma can make a person feel as if their options are limited. Again, it matches. Finally, number 3, it causes them to give up on their identity as they focus on survival. And so the topic sentence for body paragraph number 3 says, finally, trauma can cause apathy as one's focus is shifting from thriving to surviving. So we see a match in the order. Double check, you can pause the video to do this, that your thesis and your topic sentences match in order. Next, notice the ideas match, but the wording does not. And what I mean by that is you're not using the exact same words in the thesis and the topic sentences, but you're using the same ideas. Again, paralyzing the victim is the same thing as rendering the victim unable to act. So I'm saying the same thing, but I'm using slightly different wording. Limiting their choices is the same thing as making a person feel as if their options are limited. So again, I'm taking that idea, but I'm revising the language slightly. And finally, causing them to give up upon their identity as they focus on survival alone means the same thing as causing apathy as one's focus is shifted from thriving to surviving. So you want to make sure that the ideas match, but the words are not identical. Same as before, take a moment to pause the video and look at your topic sentences and make sure that they match in ideas, but they do not match identically in wording. Finally, notice that the transitions clearly demonstrate the order of the ideas. So because paralyzing the victim is my first idea, my first body paragraph, I'm saying most significantly, meaning I'm talking about the most important part first. My second option here is limiting their choices. So that's an additional item. So I'm using the transition furthermore. And my last item is causing them to give up on their identity. So I'm using that transition finally. Last thing you want to do here with the matchy-matchy revision is to take a look at your 3 topic sentences and make sure you have logical, reasonable transitions that show the order of your ideas. Pause the video now and make that revision to your body paragraphs. All right, we're going to move on to first person. When we look at first person, no, 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 no. No! Okay, don't put first person in academic writing. So we see here, first person is a couple different spots, okay? Here's an example of first person in the thesis. I believe trauma can greatly impact one's identity. No, it doesn't need to be there. So you just want to remove it, okay? See the second one here? We just start with trauma can greatly impact one's identity. Couple reasons for this. Number 1, it makes your writing more formal. Second of all, it makes your writing more forceful. So if I say, I believe you should go to bed right now, that's a little bit different than go to bed right now. It's more forceful without the I believe. You don't want people to think this is your opinion. You want to state this as a statement of fact. So take a moment to look at your thesis and make sure that it doesn't have first person. Second, in the topic sentence, again, I, me, and we is first person. So here we see in Elie Wiesel's Holocaust memoir, Night, we witness how his experiences significantly impact his identity through his journey. No. Okay, we don't want we. That's first person. It needs to be removed. So the options, we could substitute, okay, the reader witnesses how his experiences significantly impact. So now we're using third person there. It's fine. That would be okay. Or we could revise the sentence and strengthen it by taking the in out and using a verb like demonstrates here. Elie Wiesel's Holocaust memoir, Night, demonstrates how his experiences significantly impact his identity throughout his journey. That's the strongest revision, option number 3. Take a moment now to pause the video and make sure that none of your topic sentences use first person. Interpretation of your quote. Okay, you don't want to ever say something like, I chose this quote because it proves my point, right? I chose this quote and my point are both first person. No, 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 no. There should not be any first person in academic writing with the exception of one thing, and we'll talk about here in just a moment. So here's my revision. Elie's choices are clearly limited because of the trauma that he experiences, right? All I did is I just deleted out that whole first section. It makes your writing more concise. It makes your writing more forceful, and it takes out all those extra words we don't need. We know that it's a quote. We know that you're the author and you chose it. We hope that it proves your point because that's why it's there. So we want to get rid of all that extra wording and just go straight to the point. Take a moment now to pause the video and make sure that none of your interpretation has any first person. If it's there, remove it by revision. All right. In the context, here's another example, right? On pages 43 to 44, we see Elie make the decision to lie to Stein. No, 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 no. No first person, no I's, no me's, no we's. Okay, so the first thing we could do, we could just take it out. On pages 43 to 44, Elie makes the decision to blah, 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 blah. That would be okay. Or what would be even stronger would be to make a connection here to the information that's before it. So instead of giving the page number here, let's strengthen the context and remove the first person. When Elie's uncle arrives in Buna and searches out Elie and his father, hoping they have news of his family's fate, Elie makes the decision to lie to Stein in order to shield him from the painful truth. So we're taking out the we see in both of those examples, but obviously the second revision makes the sentence much stronger than just removing it and leaving the page numbers there. Take a moment now to pause the video and make sure that you don't have any first person in context in any of your body paragraphs. One place it is okay to use. You can use first person within a quote, right? So we don't want to change the author's words. So here, Elie said, a terrible thought crossed my mind. What if he had wanted to be rid of his father? And there's my citation. So that's okay. I can say my there because those are the words of the author. But if they're the words of you who is authoring the paper, there should absolutely never, ever, ever, ever be any sort of first person in academic writing. So please make sure that those are removed as we go through. All right. Our next revision is what we call the showstopper. Okay. The word show is a no. It's a no for show. Okay. So we don't want to have the word show in there. Again, it's okay as kind of a beginning, as a middle school strategy. But now that you're a high schooler, we want to remove those types of phrases that are trite, stale, and overused. Okay. So here we see the examples. In the thesis, this essay will show how trauma. Nope. In the context, this is shown. In the interpretation, this shows. No, 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 no. Okay, we don't want to use show, shown, shows at all in your written response. So how do we fix it? If it's in the thesis, you're just going to remove it. Trauma can greatly impact one's identity, paralyzing the victim, limiting their choices, and causing them to give up upon their identity as they focus on survival alone. Again, I know you wrote an essay. I hope it's going to show me something. So skip that. Doesn't need to be there. It's extra words that are just cluttering up what you're doing, and you want to remove that word show because it's unnecessary. Take a moment now to make sure that you don't have the word show in your thesis, and then go ahead and move forward in the video. How about in my context? This is shown in Night after Elie experiences Rabbi Eliyahu's son, so on and so forth. Okay, so again, option number 1, okay, we can replace it specifically in Night after Elie experiences Rabbi Eliyahu's son separating himself from the father. So we can just to put a different word in there. That would be okay. But what would be probably even stronger would be to maybe kind of, again, tweak that sentence in a different way. So double check to make sure in your context you don't have the word show or shown. Okay, if it's there, replace it with a different term. You could use an adverb like I did here, or we could just use a different word for shown, demonstrated, displayed, something in that regard. Using an adverb would be a stronger revision, though. Take a moment to make that change now in the context for each of your body paragraphs. Interpretation. This shows that Viesel's identity is changing. Before he believed in God was an almighty power, and now he doesn't believe that God is an almighty power. Okay, there's a little bit of redundancy here, but we're really looking at the shows part here. Okay, option number 1, I could replace it, just like we did in the context. This demonstrates how. Okay, that's a better word than shows. It's more specific, more precise language. That would be an okay revision. Option number 2, which would be better, we could remove it. Wiesel's identity is changing because before he believed God was an almighty power, and then we move on from there. That would be better than replacing it. Or the best option is to connect it. So here's the quote we're talking about. He then states, man is stronger, greater than God, on page 67. Revealing, so just put that revealing word in there to connect these two together. So he then states, man is stronger, greater than God, revealing Wiesel's identity is changing. Before he believed in God was an almighty power, and then moving on from there, right? We might need to add a comma in there between changing and before if we make this kind of a connection, but this would be the best way to revise it, right? We're making a clear connection now between the actual evidence and the explanation, and that would be a stronger or the strongest way to make a revision here. So you're going to take a moment to look at your body paragraphs. You're going to look at your interpretation, and you're going to make sure that you don't have the word shows in the interpretation in any of your body paragraphs. If it's there, the best way to fix this is to connect it. If you don't feel like you can do that, remove it. And if you can't do that, replace it. But the best revision is a connection. Make that revision now. All right. Our last revision is for explanation. So we want to make sure when we're explaining our quotes that we did fully explain it. We didn't just restate something over and over again. Okay, so here is a sample paragraph. There's my topic sentence. Okay, trauma can affect one's identity, is changing how one acts. Okay, so it changes how somebody acts is how it affects our identity. Okay, here is my explanation. Wiesel's identity is changing because before he suffered at the concentration camp, Wiesel would have jumped in and protected his father. But now that they are at the concentration camp and suffering, Wiesel doesn't want to interfere and worsen the situation and lead to him getting beaten or possibly dying. Again, there's some redundancy here as well, and that would be something we want to clean up on revision too. But let's just talk about the connection between the topic sentence and the explanation. Does this fully explain, or does it just restate? Well, it seems like it does some explanation, but there's also some restatement and there's also some redundancy. My biggest problem here is it doesn't fully explain. Okay, this is all about how he changes how he acts, which is part of this, but the other part is the trauma. Is there any mention of trauma in this explanation? No. So we have to add that to fully explain. Remember, your explanation is making a link between trauma as the cause and the change in identity you're talking about as the effect. So they both have to be here. So here's how I would revise this one. Wiesel's identity is changing because before he has experienced numerous traumatic experiences which have changed the way he responds. Had he not witnessed numerous beatings and been subjected to perpetual dehumanization, Wiesel would have jumped in and protected his father. But now that they are at the concentration camp and suffering, Wiesel doesn't want to interfere and worsen the situation and lead to him getting beaten or possibly dying. There could be a little bit better explanation there, but this at least talks about both the trauma and the change in the identity. Okay, the other thing you should notice here is that there is no specific evidence, right? That thing that says page 54, Wiesel watches Edek beat his father, that's context, right? We don't have the actual quote here, so we really don't have the evidence we need to make this analysis. If I'm talking about those numerous traumatic experiences which have changed the way he responds, I would want to mention what they are, right? I would want to talk about them specifically, and I might even want to give quotations of when those things happened. So this one's not perfect, but it's better. Okay, we've talked about trauma. That's now the cause. We've talked about the changing in how somebody acts. That's the effect. And we've linked them together here nicely with this explanation. So take a moment to go through and look at the explanation in each of your body paragraphs. Make sure that it doesn't just restate, but it actually explains. And make sure that it clearly shows the link between trauma as the cause and the change in identity that you're discussing as the effect. Once that's finished, you should be ready for your response to be scored.